Recording? Okay. So this is my last beta before transfer. Transfer is next week. So they're gonna check my lining, make sure that everything's A-okay for transfer day. So we're almost there. So we made it to plan. So tomorrow is our transfer day. So this is our last night out where I can have a glass to drink and really celebrate our transfer day. They're asking me to come with a full bladder, and Eric could finally go back with me. He hasn't been able to go to any of my appointments in the back. This is the first and only one, so it should be nice.
We are at Ray's. Look at that nice menu. Ray's Killer Creek. First time being here.
Yes. Last sip and my last hurrah.
My first sip.
Look at you two with your pineapple stuff. All in a good spirit today. How are you both?
Doing good.
Just confirm that that is your first and last name, your date of birth. That all looks familiar to you.
Yeah.
I have the right paperwork with the right people.
Right.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Come on, sir. We always just have to confirm that, especially on a day like today.
Right.
Through that door right there is the IVF lab. That's where they're holding your embryos. That's where all the embryologists work out of. And in a minute, they're going to come in and talk to you. And they're going to let you know how your embryo thawed out. They're going to show you a picture of it. Answer any questions that you have about quality, how many more you might have remaining, all that good stuff. So there are people that talk to you about the embryo and quality and all that. When they're done talking to you, I'm going to have you just undress from the waist down. Is that one piece or two?
This is one.
Perfect. So, yeah, so just underwear off, and then I'll put some pads down on the table and show you how to sit on the table. And then what I'm going to do is come in and do an ultrasound on the top of your belly. So today's ultrasound is again on top of your belly. It's not vaginal. I know you're used to that other way of having ultrasounds, but today, the reason we do it on top of your stomach is because they're busy doing too much other stuff down below, so we can't fit that probe in there also.
Okay.
And that also ties in with why you're drinking. The only way to see your uterus through an abdominal ultrasound is through a full bladder. So that's how that all goes together there. Once I do the ultrasound and I see that you have enough in your bladder and that we can see the uterus right underneath, then I'll page the doctor on call. Today it's Dr. McCarthy.
Okay.
Is she your doctor?
No, but she did my retrieval. And I like her.
She is lovely.
Yeah.
She's so sweet.
Yeah.
So yeah, she'll be your doctor today.
Okay, nice.
And then she'll come in. What she's going to do when I page her is she'll come in, put some sterile gloves on, sit down. She's going to put a speculum in, obviously, everybody's favorite thing, not. And then she's going to clean your cervix up with a couple of big Q-tips and then a couple of small Q-tips. So it doesn't really feel like anything. It feels like the beginnings of a passing, just kind of movement around in there. The worst part is that full bladder, and then having her put the speculum in, and then me with the ultrasound at the same time. So that's no fun.
Okay.
But she just cleans your cervix up with those swabs, and she cleans it off with a liquid, watery pink solution. And I'm telling you that for a reason. When you sit up afterwards, you might feel a little bit of that liquid come back out. That's not the embryo. People panic when they sit up and they think the embryo is coming back out. It's just what she cleans your cervix.
Okay.
And that solution, by the way, is the same solution that the embryo is actually growing in right now. So we clean your cervix out with stuff that's not going to be toxic to that embryo when that catheter goes in and touches things. So we don't use betadine or soap or anything that might bother that embryo. So it's the same stuff it's used to. It's been cleaning out your cervix. When she gets you all cleaned out, she's going to put an empty catheter, really skinny catheter, through your cervix and up into your uterus. Probably won't feel like a whole lot of anything for most people. And you can actually watch that on the ultrasound screen, you'll be able to see that. And all that catheter does is that holds the pathway open, okay? It's just a hollow tube and it kind of holds that pathway open. The door to the IVF lab during the procedure is going to be open the whole time because the embryologist has to hear when she's ready and she has that pathway open, because they will end up loading up your embryo right when she says she's ready for it. So they keep that right at 98.6 degrees on a warming plate or in an incubator until the moment she's ready for it. And then they load it up into an even skinnier catheter. Their catheter is skinny and like a piece of wet spaghetti. It's very flexible. And what they do is they assist her, and they'll come in and they'll feed that skinny catheter through that other one that's already in place. And then they'll put that a little further up into your uterus. And then they'll hit the little syringe that's attached to that flexible catheter, drop it off into your uterus. And then they'll take those catheters back into the lab, the embryologist will run it under the microscope just to ensure that the embryo didn't stick to the tubing and want to hitchhike back to the lab and then lead in your uterus. So we never let you go home without confirming that it's inside of you. And that only takes a minute or so, and they'll say, okay, it looks good. And then you just lay there for about 2 minutes, and then we actually want you to get up and go to the bathroom. Because as your bladder fills, it spasms or contracts. That's what makes you feel like you have to go to the bathroom. Your bladder sits right directly on top of your uterus, so they don't have a lot of spasms or contractions just after that embryo goes into your uterus.
Fix your mask. Yeah, that part, yeah.
I'm gonna take another sip for her.
We're all done.
We're finished. It went well. We was able to see the catheter going in and the embryo being transplanted. It was so beautiful.
And they love my shirt, by the way, in the office.
Lots of
That
compliments.
she got for me.
All right, so I just took my blood pregnancy test, which they call beta because they are going to check the levels of my HCG in my blood. So we're gonna hope that comes back well and that I'm officially pregnant. I asked them, I said, how long will it take for them to know, my doctor to know my results? And they said 48 hours, if not less. So I just got my second beta done. You know, they pulled my blood and they're going to check for a higher level of HCG than previously pulled, which was on Monday. Now on Sunday, I believe I had implantation bleeding. So Monday came around, and when they did my beta test, the results came in and my number was 349. So we're looking for that to double based upon the numbers from what was drawn today. So I don't feel any different. I just feel like I may be a little sleepy, but I think that's from the PO progesterone and oil shot. Other than that, I mean, I feel fine. So we'll see. I'm hoping my numbers doubled. We'll see. All right, bye. A lot has been going on. A lot is going on, and it was kind of hard to keep posting videos about it as I'm going through it, and everything was happening so quickly. But during this series of weeks, I'm going to be uploading lots of videos on my whole IVF process, because I've been recording footage, but I just haven't been putting them together and releasing them out to you guys. So I'm gonna do that, and I want you guys to know that this is very sensitive for me, the whole process, and it takes a lot for someone to have to share. So just keep that in mind as as you see me unveil my